in itself. We'll be unpacking all that happened. We'll speak with the two main political parties that partook in the elections, and of course LPG candidate who also garnered some votes, and we want to understand how that was also done. You know, some people actually voted for the LPG candidate. We'll get to understand exactly what happened. We'll speak with the security agencies as well, security persons. Peace was, part of the whole process. We didn't see some, activities that led to either injuries or death at all, which was a good thing, because normally by-elections largely are associated with violence. But it looks like Akwatia took a different turn, and that was a good thing. So we'll look into it and see what happened, or analyze exactly what happened. Mr. Musa Dankwa, who is now the toast of a lot of mouths, will join us here in the studio to understand, let us understand how the polls, went. There were doubts when his last polls was conducted. His exit polls is also out. He's explaining a lot of things, but he will be with us and let us understand exactly, how we need to follow some of these polls backed by research. Right. Let's go to Ellen, who is standing by with the rest of the stories to give us the unpacking. Ellen, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
I see you're wearing green.
Yes. But it doesn't insinuate anything at all.
I don't want to even ask any question.
Right.
Please give us the stories.
Absolutely. Right. Let's now get into our headlines for this afternoon. After making a bold declaration to resign should the NPP candidates lose in the just-ended Akwatia by-election, pressure mounts new job in South MP Michael Notary to carry out his promise despite his apology. Former Chief Justice and Council of State member Justice Sophia Ekufu has strongly condemned the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono, describing the process as unjust and deeply troubling. President John Mahama has announced the lifting of the temporary ban on state land transaction. Thank you very much for keeping us company. We are coming live to you from the Akwatia studio here at North Region. We are going to give you the details of the stories as we head to Akwatia to get exactly what's happening after yesterday. Let's take a look at this particular story. There's more.
One saw wrong with that procedure as set out is what has come into what has come to pass, because one, it's a provision that sets very vague criteria for or very vague grounds. Misconduct. Misconduct. I hear you're a lawyer. Misconduct ranges, there's no particular description of misconduct. Your child can misconduct themselves in school by chewing gum. That's misconduct. Chewing gum in court could be labeled as misconduct. The misconduct simply means that somebody, in somebody's view, you have misconducted yourself. There has not been, it's one of those standards, if one could call it that, which is incapable of any definition. And to a very large extent, it is personal, it is circumstantial, it is dictated by so many things, and one needs to be extremely careful. But that aside, well, and then incompetence. Incompetence is also another vagueness, because incompetence, it could be you didn't know what you were doing, but one should go beyond you didn't know what you were doing and go to consequences of it, etc., etc. And then, of course, there's the third one is infirmity, which I could be, one may say, the only possibly objective ground in that that provision. And one had always, certainly when I was Chief Justice, I was walking on tiptoes. When am I going to be accused of misconduct? When am I going to be accused of incompetence? And are these and these are not so, to me, they lack the gravity. They lack the gravity that would lead to a grave outcome, such as the removal of the head of an institution of justice.
Was the former Chief Justice Sophia Akufo speaking earlier on TV3 about the removal of the Chief Justice. Now, away from that, Deputy National Elections Director of the NDC, Rashid Tanko Computer, has rejected an apology from New Drabin South MP Michael Ochibafi following the NPP's defeat in the Akwatia by-election. He insists the MP must either resign as he promised or he be forced to apologize publicly in Parliament. This was after the New Drabin South MP made a bold declaration that he would resign if the NPP candidate in the just-ended Akwatia by-election lost.
We are not accepting it. Nobody's going to. We are not accepting the apology. He must resign. If he doesn't resign, Ghanaians will not take politicians serious. We must be serious. They must hold us to our words. Whatever comes out from my mouth, they must take me serious. I can't just stand here and make allegations, say certain things, and then within 24 hours, do you know that he came in here when we were about to start the coalition, beaming smile, telling me that we were winning the dinner, until I showed him on my phone that, my friend, you have lost the election, I'm coming to your constituency for by-election. Then he started perspiring. That's the time he got to know that things have changed.
I mean, don't you have too many seats in Parliament? I mean, some are saying it will become a rubber stamp Parliament if care is not taken.
The framers of the 1992 Constitution saw the need to put in what is known as Representation of the People Act. What does that mean? Representation. Every constituency must get a proper representation in Parliament, not numbers. We are not talking about numbers, we are talking of representation. Who is to represent you in Parliament? And that is why independent who can represent without political party. And so if a constituency deem it fit to have a candidate standing on the ticket of a political party, why not? You deny them that you don't vote for a party that will only deliver you press conference. You vote for a party that will bring you development, employment for your youth. And that is what we have done. And clearly, we have to give thumb up to the good people of Akwatia, executives of our party, led by our national chairman and the general secretary of the party. In fact, they've been here for the past week. They've not gone anywhere. Leadership of the party, all the executives, slept here, worked across the distance. So the victory is an organic victory. A victory for the...
From here, we go to Tamale. To what extent is the NDC willing to go? You have too many seats in.
Please apologize.
Still on politics this afternoon, the Member of Parliament-elect for Akwatia, Bernard Bediakon Beijo, has expressed gratitude to his constituents, attributing his victory to the confidence that the people reposted in the National Democratic Congress message. The MP-elect in his message said his victory is rebirth of a town long tied to the fortunes of mining and the struggles of its people, while insisting that his victory did not come as a surprise to him and his team.
Okay, so yes, it believes that this is how far the good Lord has brought us. You have said it all. The confidence has always been there. It is not just mere confidence out of nothing. It was born out of the good work we have done. after engaging the people, we read their reaction towards the message we gave them, and we saw that it had really imbibed. They gave us a hope, some hope of a sort, which hope has resulted to what we see today. I mean, we've always been very confident. I told you, I don't know whether, I told you guys that you've been in this game for a while. If you are in it and you are losing, you will know, except maybe if you don't want to be honest yourself. I told you what we were working out at that moment I spoke to was with regards to the gap. But as for the win, what are we witnessing? We've won. Okay. For me, I've always said that, you see, when you are going to such contests, there are a lot of things you will hear. But I don't focus on tangentials. The focus is on the main ball. My focus is to have my message delivered, the people accept it, and then they take it up and work to make sure victory is delivered. Indeed, you see, some of these comments, if you are not careful, you'll be swayed by them, and then you go outside the main target and then be dealing with, well, let me put it this way, unnecessary stuff. Because you see, I shouldn't have been in the race as in what? I mean, that I was disqualified, or it was an illegality on my part or what. And so we've gone past that stage. Development. We've always said that, you see, Akwatia's name has always been with regards to mining. You can't take away the mining. Okay, we only have to do it lawfully. That's what we're going to work on. Where we are now is a GCD property. Hitherto, just before John Dramani Mahama came to power, the place was in darkness. If you recall, we did the same coalition here, and we had to put on some solar panels and all, lamps and all that. Today, and it wasn't because of the by-elections, it was even done before. Today, we have electricity. It is the first step towards getting GCD back on track, which can employ thousands of people. There are other things we are looking at. Essentially, it is about development, and we will make sure we deliver.
Away from election, President John Dramani Mahama has inaugurated the constituted National Lands Commission with a strong call for reform. The president unveiled a comprehensive land governance reset, one aimed at ending corruption, digitization services, and restoring public trust. Shadrach Odami has more.
President John Dramani Mahama didn't mince words as he laid bare the rot within Ghana's land administration system. At the heart of his message, a system plagued by impunity, illegal sales, and institutional decay. But now, he says, a reset is underway.
The unrestrained dissipation of state lands is not the work of the ordinary Ghanaian citizen. It is spearheaded by influential individuals who wield public office not as a trust, but as a personal entitlement. Prime government lands, ecological buffer zones, school land reserves, forest enclaves, Ramsar sites, and even lately lagoons have been appropriated by individuals who have been given the responsibility of protecting them.
The president announced the lifting of a temporary ban on state land transactions, but with strict new rules. All allocations, leases, and sales must now pass through transparent, digitized systems. No more backdoor dealings.
So today, with the inauguration of the new commission and the adoption of robust accountability measures, I'm pleased to announce that the ban on land transactions has been lifted. Our goal is clear. No land document should take more than 30 working days to process, and no Ghanaian should have to pay bribes or know someone at the top to be able to register their land. Corruption within the Lands Commission will no longer be tolerated or treated indifferently. I expect the new Commission's leadership to institute strict internal accountability measures.
Part of the reforms, technology. The government plans to digitize all land records, introduce blockchain to prevent tampering, and open 261 land offices across the country. Over 300 young professionals will be recruited to drive this transformation. The president also emphasized equity. With over 80% of land under customary ownership, he called for a new social compact with traditional leaders, one that ensures fair land access for women, youth, and vulnerable groups.
We do not inherit land from our ancestors we borrow it from our children. We do not inherit land from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children because it belongs to our children and we are using it for the meantime. And so we need to know how to guard it. Therefore, let us act boldly, wisely, and selflessly to protect our land, reform our systems, and restore public trust.
We assure you that we will do our best to ensure that the vision you have for this country and for the land sector is realized, and that we will leave a legacy of a highly efficient and effective lands commission and a land administration system which is technologically driven and which meets expectations of all our stakeholders.
With this bold declaration, President Mahama has drawn a line in the sand, promising an end to impunity and a future of integrity. But for many Ghanaians, the true test will be in implementation. Shadrach Odame Ejare, Metro News.
Those are more social stories. Former Chief of Defense Staff General Joseph Mensah Nunu has described the Galamsey menace as a grave national concern that must not be trivialized, warning that rising unemployment is fueling the practice and could warrant the declaration of a state of emergency if not addressed with sustainable job opportunities.
It's a complex issue. I ask myself why this problem didn't exist in my time. When I'm talking about when I was 20 years old, some 70 years ago, it didn't arise. We were in poverty. We were in abject poverty. We have improved. But the level of improvement has not spread to affect everybody. People in the politics, rather than look after the interests of the nation, the youth and so on, to make money for themselves. So the youth feel that they are abandoned. And if you don't take a gun, or you don't go and dig gold illegally and make money, you know, it didn't happen in Nkrumah's son. You know, it just happened because of failure of leadership, political leadership. When you get to power, you're not there for yourself. Unfortunately, since the Fourth Republic was set up, 1992. I was involved with the MPP to start with, then things took a turn. What I've seen is that the leaders we have had do not have the country at heart. They're not there because of Ghana. They are there for themselves, which wasn't the case at the beginning. I started with Nkrumah. I knew Nkrumah's ministers, almost all of them. There are one or two who didn't behave impeccably well, but it's not as bad as today. And this is what making the young people do Galamsey. Why Galamsey? Galamsey destroying our water bodies, killing us. But they are doing because nobody cares about them. If today, you have a plan, and I think the fighting Galamsey should be taken on by a tough young Major General, army chap. Put him in charge. It has a martial law.
As with some more stories, the Ghana Chamber of Mines has cautioned governments against proposals to cut the tenure of mining lease from 30 years to 15 years, warning that such move could undermine investments inflows, limit community benefits, and weaken Ghana's competitiveness in the global mining sector.
Presenting the Chamber of Mines, Ghana position paper on the proposed amendment to the Minerals Act, Act 703, at a press briefing, Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, explained that the mining projects are for long-term duration and a capital-intensive ventures, often requiring a decade of preparatory work before work begins.
We don't curtail the available time for recouping this investment and earning a fair return. You know, because what is going to happen is that if the tenure is short, then you might, you know, when you do your NPVs, you will find out that project is not feasible. And if it is not feasible, nobody will bring his money to invest. Not foreigners, not only FDI, LDI. If you reduce the tenure, what is going to happen? You are going to encourage high grading. When they come, they will look for the high grade ore. Exploit that because that's the tenure that they have, and then they leave. So it will mean serialization of the marginal ore bodies. Ore bodies that really they are not sure about that. Nobody will mind it. And it would compromise the economic viability of deep-seated, complex and marginal ore bodies. There are some ore bodies that are so complex that you need a long term to be able to, you know, you might do all your prospecting and all of that. It's when you start mining that you now begin to see it.
The Chamber therefore urged policymakers to maintain the current 30-year tenure under Act 703 along flexible renewal agreement.
So what we are saying is that we're not saying government should give 30-year leases. That's not what we are saying. We're saying that government should maintain it. Maintaining it does not mean you give it. It means that when the opportunity presents itself, the economics of the project presents itself, the engineering of the project presents itself, you can then take a decision within the law. And not only that, it makes your country also an attractive destination. So when people are doing the search, they don't have to come and think, oh, this government crowd, would they do this or not? So again, with the DAs as well, what we should do is to put a robust framework around it that has milestones within the DA. And so that people are then able to, once you give the DA to a particular person, you are then able to monitor it.
According to the Chamber of Mines Ghana, maintaining the current 30-year tenure is very crucial for sustainable investment, ensuring a stable government revenue and supporting long-term socio-economic development for the host country.
Away from that, the National Development Planning Commission commenced a workshop for journalists aimed at promoting the implementation of Ghana's Sustainable Ocean Plan. Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission and Senior Presidential Advisor on SDGs, Dr. Nimwai Thompson, said the workshop will explore potential and sustainable ways of using Ghana's ocean and marine resources.
The Sustainable Ocean Plan aims to guide public and private sector decision makers on how to sustainably manage a nation's ocean under national jurisdiction to advance long-term economic and social development. As part of effort to successfully implement this plan, the NDPC, in collaboration with the Sustainable Development Goals Advisory Unit in the Office of the President, organized a workshop for journalists. The workshop provided participants with an overview to SOP's discussed Ghana's SOP plan and explored potential avenues for the active participation of media houses in the SOP process. In his keynote address, Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission and Senior Presidential Advisor on SDGs, Dr. Nimwai Thompson, said the workshop will help ensure the Sustainable Ocean Plan is nationally owned.
Today's workshop is critical to all of us. This is where we ensure that the SOP reflects the realities and aspirations of all stakeholders, from policymakers in the private sector to academia, coastal communities, and development partners. Your contributions will help ensure that the plan is technically robust, nationally owned, and ready to drive action. Together, we are shaping the future of Ghana's oceans and coastlines, and by extension, the prosperity of our people.
He added government is committed to ensuring the Sustainable Ocean Plan succeeds.
The Sustainable Ocean Plan is therefore not only a technical document, but a national commitment to balance economic growth with environmental ownership. Ghana, as a member of the high-level panel for a sustainable ocean economy, has pledged to sustainably manage 100% of our ocean areas under our national jurisdiction. Some progress has been made in realizing our ocean commitment.
Coordinator of the Sustainable Ocean Plan, Ebenezer Apasapong, said the plan will help create more awareness about the ocean.
You realize that even though we are an ocean country, knowledge about our ocean resources, data and all that are very limited. So we want to promote or implement actions to address that. And then we have issues that are related to, I mentioned ocean health already, ocean wealth, ocean finance is a very important area that we think we should address.
Ghana's Sustainable Ocean Plan is in line with Sustainable Development Goal 14, which seeks to use oceans, seas, and marine resources sustainably. A healthy ocean is essential to human existence and life on Earth.
Away from that, Adamuta Waliku, the acting managing director of Ghana Water Limited, has paid a working visit to water treatment plants in Central Region to identify operational challenges and implement immediate solutions. He visited Winneba Water Treatment Plants and Kwanyako Water Desalination Plants, engaging with engineers and operators to evaluate infrastructure conditions and technical constraints.
To tackle the ongoing water crisis in Accra and some parts of the country, the acting managing director of the Ghana Water Company Limited visited the treatment plants to ascertain their current state. Speaking to the media, he promised to ensure equitable distribution of water and outline plans for infrastructure expansion to meet growing demands.
This headwork serves about 30 districts, so it serves a wide area. But as you can see at the intake, the turbidity of the water is not the best. I was told as of last week it went up to 32,000 NTU, and today is about 11,000. And the design of the plant is to operate at 2,500 NTU. So we realize that even today, the design of the plant times 5 is what the turbidity of the water is. However, Ghana Water Limited and the staff of Kwanyako Headworks and the Central Regional Chief Manager, we are working to make provision to see how, with this level of turbidity, we can continue to produce water to the people of Winneba, Swedru, and its environment, including Kaswa.
He further emphasized that Galamsey and illegal mining activities have polluted the water bodies with toxic chemicals like mercury and cyanide, causing high level of turbidity that have overwhelmed treatment plants.
Want to fly a drone, identify the main source, and then contact the appropriate authority. For example, if the drone indicates exactly where the illegal mining is going on, we will reach out to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, as well as the Ministry of Science and Technology, for the necessary action to be taken. But if we just go and report and say that turbidity is high, and they ask us where is the source of the pollution coming from, then we might not be able to answer. So I think as the chief manager, the regional chief manager, to collaborate with the head office so that as soon as possible they should deploy the drones.
Let's do some more social stories this afternoon. As Paramount Chief of the Peki Traditional Area, Akwatia has advised newly graduated students of the Peki College of Education in the South Dei district to desist from illicit drug use and alcohol abuse. He urged them to contribute meaningfully to the Ghana Education Service by transferring knowledge to the young ones who represent the future of the country. He made these remarks during the college's 17th congregation ceremony held at Peki, and our Voto regional correspondent, Gabriel Asempa, has more.
This year's congregation themed Colleges Sustaining Quality Teacher Education in a Changing World witnessed the graduation of 406 students who successfully completed their training and passed all examinations. Out of the total, 64 students attained first-class honors, 294 obtained second-class upper division, and 48 graduated with second-class lower division. Here is the Paramount Chief of Peki Traditional Area, Dega Kojo, sounding words of caution to the newly graduates.
Do not go out there and get caught up in these vices. You are supposed to lead the children and lead them away from these vices.
The principal of the Peki College of Education, Dr. Ebenezer Apaboni, appealed to the government through the Ministry of Education to prioritize construction of well-designed halls of residence with proper kitchen facilities for colleges of education across the country.
I therefore humbly appeal to the government of Ghana through the Ministry of Education to prioritize the construction of well-designed halls of residence with proper kitchen facilities for all colleges in Ghana.
Meanwhile, the college management, through its internally generated fund, has commissioned a clinic, refurbished the ICT center, established a sachet water factory, and completed a 250 capacity dormitory funded by GET Fund. These facilities are expected to address health challenges, boost internal revenue generation, and ease accommodation challenges in the college. Dr. Bonney further appealed for additional lecture rooms to help resolve overcrowding in classrooms.
Since the inception of the school that they constructed as the school was built, they've not had any lecture halls again. So that is my target. We are appealing to the government to come in our aid to help build lecture facility, modern lecture facility, where we can have offices and all other things for students to use.
For the news updates here on Good Afternoon Ghana, my name is Helena Nyeweja. Over to you now, Annie.
Thank you so much for the updates there. We'll be crossing over to do a lot more detailed interviews about the stories that have been raised. But let me just also update you on this one, where we have acting Chief Justice appoints Joyce Bawa Motari, who is supposed to be the office or holds the office of Notary Public of Ghana. We'll tell you more about this position because we also have issues of the same Chief Justice we were told. We just want to get the clarity of that, and then we will, understand exactly what's happening. Appointed his wife. We're told that appointed his wife into the same office. Is it the same office we're talking about, or something else is happening? But we'll look into it later. We'll have Musa Dankwa also join us, the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics, who has back-to-back been giving us the, accurate polls. So far, so good. We'll be back shortly.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment. This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model. Securing your safety. Creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Trotro from Kaswa, dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be later?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Copy from to Jeb be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter what you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God down boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey!
Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
DSTV means choosing.
Amazing acting.
Face branding while streaming.
Front row at the gaming and super fanning while on the going. Winning, binging and blockbustering. While others are white ricing, you're jolloffing.
This looks so good.
With something for everyone, anything is possible when you're DSTVing. Start today with all sorts of packages to match your...
Welcome back to Good Afternoon, Ghana. Right, so we'll get into Akwatia and the issues that are trending, issues that have come up. We'll look into it. But for now, like I said earlier, we have been joined in the studio by the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics, Mr. Musa Dankwa. He and his team, I've always been wondering, it's like he's working with a ghost team. We don't know the team members, but they are in the field, always conducting the research, and then they put it together. Sometimes you'll call him and he will tell you he's in Accra, but the team is there, and they are collecting, the data. And so when they put the data together, then they do the analysis of the data and give us the results. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pleasure to be here this afternoon. Alive.
You're alive. Alive. I think your mic is off. If you can just.
Yes, so I'm happy to be here this afternoon alive.
Why were you threatened by?
Oh no, I mean they were preparation to take me to the slaughterhouse.
Oh. So we're glad you're still with us.
Thank you.
That's because I monitored your social media updates actually after the elections were called, and you were excited that you got it spot on. What I was thinking was, does it sometimes scare you when you put out your post and hope, cross your fingers that, please, let this be correct?
Any survey report we release, look at the methodology, look at the confidence level, look at the margin of error. That reflects my confidence in the margin of error.
Yeah.
And we've always done surveys of this nature at 99% confidence.
Yeah.
It means that for me to have that higher confidence, I need to deploy sufficient sample size that would reflect Akwatia constituency in terms of population. And that means that I have to cover every community within the Akwatia constituency. There were 21 of them. When we do elections that are of not kind of high stake, we don't tend to cover every electoral area. We pick a sample of them and then we go to those areas. But in the case of Akwatia, we went everywhere. From Swabe, Akumani, Jinasik, Topremai, Sechikrum, Apinaman, Kusi, Takurasi, Buadua, Akwatia. We went everywhere, so we don't get blind spot. So we were quite confident. Now, we would only be wrong if we have been lied to by the voters. If people we engaged had lied to us, then obviously we're not going to get it right. But people have come to know Global Info, that for their voices to be heard, they need to talk to us. So that reputation and that brand recognition has made it much easier for people to now identify us in the field and speak to us truthfully most of the time.
Yeah. What decision went into going across the whole of the constituency this time? Because normally you choose some, you select some.
The stakes are high in Akwatia. For NDC, they want to go and just prove a point. MPP, they want to win it to show that their base is not fragmented. They are still together. So you could see that the stakes were going to be high. And we don't want to have significant margin of error in our predictions. So we had to cover everywhere.
You didn't want to have significant margin of error.
Yes.
But the other ones you've conducted, there wasn't much of margin of error.
If you look at the national tracking pool, because it's national and the numbers are telephoned randomly, it is much easier to get that randomness correct with a 2,500 sample than when you are visiting a constituency, you are doing face-to-face. Face-to-face, there's a lot of biases in face-to-face. Sometimes you see somebody with a face frown.
But this was face-to-face?
Face-to-face.
Okay.
So with face-to-face, you must really push the numbers up a bit.
Yeah.
But the randomness is kind of interfered by human selection. If I look at you and you're beautiful, let me talk to Annie. If you don't look beautiful, I say, this one there, I don't think I should. So there's that kind of human interference in the randomness.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that the sample size is quite bigger so that the error will reduce.
less.
Will be less, yes.
Now, you had a bit of banter. We'll go to the polls. We haven't had the opportunity to actually share the whole post with you. I think we spoke with him before the election, the day before the elections, right? And we couldn't share the whole post. So we'll try and go through it fast enough because he's running into another meeting. The man has become a hot cake. But we have an opportunity to be with him in the studio. So you understand where or what he served us before voters went to the polls yesterday in Akwatia. But I also observed on your wall that there was a back and forth banter with persons, and I wouldn't want to call names, but with persons who probably did not appreciate the critical details and basics of research, for want of better expression. Is there anything that, you know, apart from the polls that you give us and the accurate success rates that you've had over the period, would you like to share knowledge of research on this platform for us? Because I see that sometimes you try to throw shades. You like pressing next. It's allowed. We are in democracy. But is that something that you really want to do in terms of sharing knowledge when it comes to research?
The first thing you do in research is to take your heart out of the data. Your heart. Don't bring your heart in the data. And make sure that you are going out to find the truth, not what people want to hear, the truth. Objectivity must be your hallmark, objective. So the way you even frame the question
must be objective.
Objective, should not be leading others to give you certain answers.
Give us an example.
Let's say you are doing a poll about Annie and me in a race, and you want to find out whether people like me or prefer you. Then I said, Annie is a news anchor with Metro TV. She has 40 years experience doing this work. She has MSc degree, accomplished personality, and she's done so much, Musa Dankwa is a lotto forecaster. He does this. A very brief, not detailed enough description of me. And you end it there. People who don't know the two of us will look at the profile of you.
Of what you shared.
And say, you must be better than me because of the information they have been given. And then that would tend them to lean towards you. So to be objective, you must make sure that equal coverage of the achievement is given. And sometimes you avoid using the word doctor and stick to their name. Annie Ampofu.
Oh, if they have titles.
Yes.
So lawyer, doctor.
Sometimes, yes. Those titles tend to put certain things in people's head. Oh, he's a lawyer there, anyway, better.
Considering the people you're dealing with, yeah.
You have to be very sensitive to all of these things.
Wow.
In that kind of minutiae. So you have to have the mind of being fair.
But is that objectivity, or that is just, okay, you're trying to get the voter's mind in balance?
Without giving somebody undue advantage.
Oh, wow. It goes as far.
Yes.
Wow.
Sometimes when you design the questionnaire, we sit back and argue among themselves or ourselves. What do you think? What impression do you get? And even the person you put on top could be a problem.
What do you mean on top?
Let's say if you have first person is Annie Ampofu, second person is me. Now, if this is the sequence that every question comes, or every respondent sees, then they may be tempting to pick the first person. So what we do is that we have a random kind of simulation within the system. So if I press and I have you as a first picture, second time it will be me on the top. So even people who are administering the survey will not have the luxury of just picking A, B, 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 B. But the answer will not be the same. So you can shuffle the answers.
Shuffle, yeah.
And it gives you objectivity. So we have to go through all of that. And then your methodology, how you pick the samples. What sample size do you want to go with? How do you deploy the sample? Do you look at some corner and say, this place is NDC stronghold, let me go there? Or you pick there is MPP stronghold, let me go there? Or you have a scientific means of selecting the areas impartially. So all these you put into place, and then the people you send to the field, you train them.
Yeah.
To be objective.
If there are people who want to be trained by you, who are interested in you're open for that?
Of course, we train people. We even offered to train media houses last year on how to read and understand data and use that in election coverage. We didn't get a response from the GIJ.
Oh.
Free of charge.
So you're looking like a real victim.
No, we want to share knowledge.
You didn't get response from GIJ?
No.
Let me just do this impromptu thingy. If you can get the GIJ president, is it the current president you do?
I don't know who was the president, but sometime last year.
Oh, then it's the current president you're talking about.
We wrote to them.
You just
we
won again.
We will take over certain costs. We will pay for our own costs. They should just bring venue and the people participate.
Is it GIJ or GJA?
I think it's GJA.
It's GJA, the Ghana Journalists Association.
I think so, yes.
Then it's GJA. Okay. So kindly put the GJA president.
So
kindly put Ms. Abedufo on the line.
I believe in impacting knowledge. I was trained in the UK where I had the chance to learn everything on the job. And I feel that responsibility now, when it comes to global informatics, everybody gets involved in everything. And as we speak to you, there are people that I'm training to take over from me in the years to come.
Oh, wow.
Yes, young people that are, some are already engaging with other media houses. And I believe in the next year, they will see several posters from Global Info.
So you have undercover researchers who are working with media houses?
They're not undercover, no.
So what are they?
I have people who are working with me, my team, people who are working with me as staff, that are learning the trade of becoming pollsters.
Okay.
If I'm no longer there, or if you call me and I'm tired, I will give it to another person to handle
to handle it.
Yes.
Because I know you also tend to get a lot of engagements.
Yeah, this polling work is it's a hobby, frankly speaking.
It's a hobby for you?
Yeah, it's a hobby for me. It's not my job.
So you have other things,
yes,
major things you do?
I'm a professional consultant.
Wow.
And that appears to be taking my time these days. So I need to have people who can take the bit of burden out of my shoulders.
The consultancy.
So I can focus in financial management and project and risk management.
So you're a consultant in financial management and risks management. That is actually your main task.
I'm an accountant by profession. Chartered accountant for over 20 years.
The other time you had a conversation with Dr. Randiabi.
Yes.
Yeah, before he left Metro TV. Was it something that you were willing to do? Because it was almost like you didn't want to say much about you. I was actually watching the body language.
No, I've said enough about me. Humble background. I mean, to date, I don't see myself any differently from the people I grew up with.
Yeah.
To date, if you want to see me, you come to Zongo in the areas, they'll see me sitting there. You know, so it's a quiet life. And I like that. It's less of pressure and a very simple life. And I feel secured among my people of Zongo, Medina. And for me, that's all I care about. So, Annie, that is it. Humble beginning. My mom is from Apramai. Yesterday, it was personal to me yesterday as well, the constituency. This morning, I had a call from my elder brother, Rasta in Bodia, my elder brother from the same father. And what people don't know, the postmaster in Bodia, the old postmaster.
So your mother is in that constituency?
Yes, she's in Apramai now.
That's why you decided to conduct the whole.
No, it wasn't for that. It's for my own accuracy.
This one, you were very biased because your mother is there.
I want to make
you
sure
couldn't
that,
take that out of your heart.
No, I wanted to make sure that I don't get it wrong because she'll be embarrassed.
You're protecting her.
Yes.
I see. We would like to go through the polls he gave us yesterday. Sorry, he gave us how many days before the election?
I think 4 days before the election.
It was like
Thursday.
27th?
Or Friday. It came out, I think, Friday. Friday morning, yes.
Okay. So, Bright, if you can just, give us a slides of the polls. No, let's start from the methodology. That's most important, please. Methodology is the most important. So let's put that on the screen. And then, Bright, we need the methodology. So give us that slide. The first or second slide. I think that's the second slide. Because you have the intro,
it should be,
and then you have...
Before that.
Yes.
This chart actually shows, I can talk through
yes,
that.
Okay, so we have
the
that.
Methodology,
let's talk to this first.
You just tell the readers of your report how the report was compiled. I will tell you the number of people we engaged, the number of areas we covered, electoral areas we covered. What type of sampling was it? Was it random sampling in the street? Yes, random sampling we did in the street.
So when you say that you conducted the research in the whole constituency, but you use a random probability sampling method, what does it mean?
It means that the people you meet in the street are randomized.
Okay.
You pick them at random.
At random.
Sometimes at certain intervals. Maybe if you pick the first person and you are done with the person, the second, third person, you don't stop them. You let them go and try the fourth person. If it stops, fine. If it doesn't, go to the next one.
The next one.
So that's what kind of probability sampling you do in the field.
Okay.
And I will give you what we call the confidence level. The confidence level. The confidence level, together with the margin of error, determines what the sample size should be if you are doing the survey for Akwatia. So depending upon the population of the area you are sampling, your confidence level and the margin of error will say that. If you are doing Bantama, then if you need to have a 99% confidence and 2.7 margin of error, then your sample size might be 3,500. So that is the approach we take in order to arrive at the sampling size. Once you have the sample size, then you decide what kind of interview are you going to do, telephone or face-to-face. We don't have Akwatia people's telephone numbers in that great number. So we couldn't choose to call them over the phone. That would have been the best.
That would have been the best?
Yes.
The telephone
Absolutely.
interviews. You always say that it's always the best. It gives you accurate.
You don't see the other person's face.
So you are not influenced
by anything. So you give more honest views when you are doing a telephone survey than face-to-face. Face-to-face comes with some biases.
Okay.
And then from there, you deploy. When we deploy to these electoral areas, we weight the sample we assign to each area based on the number of people who vote in that electoral area. So the biggest electoral area you will see was New Wenchi. That's the largest electoral area in Akwatia.
Okay.
Then you come to Bodia, I think Bodia East. Then you have
New Wenchi is where the late
NSCOMI come from. So you have New Wenchi, the big electoral areas, New Wenchi. You have Bodia East, Bodia West. You have Apnaman, you have Takrasi, you have Kusi, you have the other part of Akwatia, the Walker, the Saddams, and all those places. Then together you get the Akwatia constituency as a whole.
Okay.
And then we begin to engage people in the field.
Okay. Let's go through the slides now. Okay, so this is the next
So this
one.
just shows you what I've just discussed, the electoral areas and how many interviews we deployed in those areas. We can go next.
Okay, next slide, please.
In the next slide, you can go to what you call the demography, the gender. How many women were part of the respondents and how many were female? As you can see, 47% were male and 53% were female. Female were slightly more than the male in the Akwatia constituency. Randomly we picked, that's what we got. And then you have maybe the age group.
Please move as fast as you can.
The age groups, and you have the 18 to 4 years being 6%, and then you have those who are 25, 34. So you can see that almost close to 80% of the voters in Akwatia are below 44 years. It means it's a very young population. You don't have them in the age profile to structure the population. So it reflects more or less what we see in the country, the national poll. And then you have the education. This is very important. Junior high is 29%. Then you have senior high to be 28%, and then tertiary 28%, and no formal education 15%. If you add the 28 in the middle, you have 56%. It means more than half of the voters in Akwatia we interviewed were either senior high or tertiary level qualification holders.
How does that affect the voter population? And are they in the age of making right decisions?
The more enlightened you are, the better decisions they can make, because they understand issues. Yes. Better than junior high school. You can imagine if... so that's what we got. Junior high is 29%, no education 15%. So if you add these two, you get about 44% being junior high or no formal education, or no formal qualification. It means Akwatia is elite. They have high number of literacy. Understand that according to the GSS, 28%. Okay. Then ethnic groups, you can see the accounts are dominant, around 76%. And then you can move forward to party affiliation, which was actually what happened on election day. There were more MPP voters in Akwatia than NDC voters. 46% of them were MPP, 41 were MPP, 7% were floating voters, other parties 2%, and not disclosing is 4%. So it's mainly MPP, NDC dominant.
Can you move to the party affiliation slides? Move to the party affiliation slides so that the viewers can follow. The next slide is the party affiliation. MPP was 46, NDC 41. But yes. I'm surprised when I saw the 41 party affiliation of NDC, because that's an MPP stronghold, or if I use the word stronghold.
No, Akwatia is swing. Akwatia is swing.
Okay, so it's not really a stronghold for the...
No, if it's a ssonghold, you will see maybe MPP around 50% and NDC around 25%.
Okay. So...
Then we ask them about some governance questions, whether they approve, whether they see the country as headed in the right direction or wrong direction. There you could see that in the baseline, which is a green bar, that's the first one we did. In the green bar, at the time, right direction was 47%. Wrong direction was 41%. No opinion, 12%. But in the last poll that we did, right direction has declined to 44%. Wrong direction has gone up to 45%. No opinion, 11%. You could see that people's view about where we headed, a bit of deterioration there in the 4 weeks that we were there. So normally when that happens, you should expect the opposition candidate to do well, because people are getting...
Exactly my point.
Then we come to, I think the next slide, which is the next two slides, direction of the country. Approval of the president.
Oh, okay, we'll move to approval of the president. Okay.
Yes. Here too, John Mahama 4 weeks ago was on 46% approval. Disapproval was 40%. No opinion, 14%. And in the 4 weeks period, the approval has declined to 43%. Disapproval has gone from 40% to 45%. No opinion to 12%. Again, the disapproval of the president should have inured to the benefit of MPP candidates. Did it? Let's see. And then when it comes to people's feeling about the economy in general, those who say it has improved, it was 47% in the first poll that we did. But it declined to 43% in the subsequent poll, down about 4%. Those who said it has deteriorated, that number came down actually from 29% to 22%. But those who said it hasn't changed went up significantly from 16% to to 31%. And those who don't know or have no opinion declined from 8 to 4%. So economic, even though it didn't improve, it did not deteriorate. It was kind of stable. Now, I would like us to go to the factors that really influence voters. At slide number 21 or so, factors with greater influence on how voters intend to vote. Here, now this was the alarm bell for the MPP. About 42% of the respondents were telling us that they will prioritize development projects above everything else. We asked them, out of these many factors, which one, if you are compelled to choose one, would you select as most influencing? 42% of them said it will be developmental project. 15% said it will be economic, education 13%, jobs 10%, and voting for my party 4%, Galamsey 8%, sympathy vote 4%, popularity of the candidate 2%, healthcare 2%. So these were the people's priority.
So this slide should have meant a lot to Solomon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, in yesterday's exit poll, this was the result that gave NDC 5-3 to 4-7, right? So yesterday, my focus was on the exit poll, whether the poll yesterday would match this data that we have here.
Yeah.
Yesterday, when people have voted and we asked them how they voted and what were the reasons why they voted the way they voted, 50% said it was developmental projects. And that is an evidence.
Which is the line?
NDC. And it is this same data that gave the NDC 5-3%. Remember? So if this number has gone to 50% on the election day, it is highly unlikely NDC would have lost. Because it was the same data set that gave them the 53%. And if in the actual vote, more people than the poll suggested are saying that developmental project will be the key, then certainly the results of the poll will manifest and exceed the poll. And as you saw, the results actually exceeded the poll number by 1.1% or 1 point something percent. It's because those who were prioritizing developmental project in the actual vote yesterday were 8 points higher than the final opinion poll. Yes. Then let's go to the parliamentary election polls itself. On what we call the likely voters model. Here you take the views of everybody who you engaged, who will likely turn out and vote. We don't include those who said, I will not vote. Those people, you cut them out. On that basis, NDC was 47%, MPP 42%, Owusu, Patrick 0%, and undecided, what, 4%. If you compare these results to what happened, it means that Bedu got 6% out of the 11%. But even 6, maybe more. Yeah, about 6%, because if you add 6% to 47, it takes him, in fact, he got 7.17%, yes. So out of the 11%, 7 went to Bernard Bedu. Only 3 went to Esumedu. So about 2/3 of the 11 went to Esumedu, went to Bedu. And Bedu ended up on 54 points something percent. And Esumedu underperformed from 47 in the headline poll to 45. Once the other person overperforms, your number comes down. But everything else must add up to 100. Yes. Now, yes, that's what we just done. You could see that Bedu gained grounds in the 4 weeks from 44 to 53%. That's about 9 points.
sorry, how were you able to separate the likely voters model from the
committed? We just discard those who said, I'm undecided. If you take them out, the numbers will be 53 and 47. And here, the model assumes that when they decide, they will follow the same trend of the race.
So in discarding, you still take that percentage and distribute?
Distribute it, yes.
Wow. Okay.
In the manner in which the race is going. But if the person in the second place loses momentum, then he loses more. That is why more of the undecided went to Beidou.
They do.
Because as you will see, he was on the momentum. And that was 4 days before the election. So every day he gains ground, and the other guy loses ground.
I see.
Now, what was key was how they were going to perform in the key electoral areas. When New Wenchi, Bodua West, Takorasi, Bodua East, Apinaman, Kwame Kuma, Topreman, Kusi, Amanfrom, Saddams, Akumani. Yesterday, when the poll numbers were coming, my interest was in Wenchi, Bodua West, Bodua East, Takoradi, Apinaman. And when I saw those numbers coming, I mean, it was clear MPP wasn't going to make it. Because even in Wenchi, when they were winning, they were not jubilating. Because they were underperforming their 2024 numbers. And remember, 2024, they won by 2,000. So if you're underperforming in that area, that 2,000 will be going with every polling station that was declared. So it was clear from Wenchi, Takorasi delivered the killer blow in terms of margin, because Beidou comes from Takorasi, and they said they've never had an MP from that area, so they were voting massively for him. Then came Bodua West and Bodua East. Bobo, it was terrible from Bodua West and Bodua East. And Asimidu comes from Bodua. So for him to lose Bodua the way he lost it, there was no way back for him.
I mean, I'm still focusing on the influence, where the influence or factors that influence the voters, decision comes from. And Asumedu saying that he is in the mining sector, and actually he was campaigning on the mining message. And if you see the factor influencing the decision, mining or Galamsey fell at 8%. But why did you name it Galamsey? Galamsey is illegal, no? Maybe you should have done mining. No, so. Because this is a formal...
Galamsey sinks in.
Okay.
Look, a lot of the mining that is happening in that area is illegal mining.
You can hardly even identify the legal ones.
Look, when you are going to Akramai, by the roadside, you just turn your neck, you see pitches everywhere.
In fact, people say the Akwatia constituency itself is synonymous with Galamsey.
It's been a mining area for a very long time. It used to be diamond during the GCD time, that surrounding the Akwatia, but diamond appears to have suddenly disappeared, and now gold is what gold that is covering. If you come to a primary like this, heavily gold and the surrounding areas, gold mining. In fact, the river that we used to go and bath in there, completely destroyed. It's gone. So it's mining, or otherwise Galamsey. And that question seemed to draw a double-edged sword. There are those who want it tamed, and there are those who want it improved. So those who support Galamsey would like it, will see it's a key issue for them. And those who oppose it because of the environmental impact will be negative to it. So if you look at those who support Galamsey in terms of those who say Galamsey is a project for them and their age groups, if you look at those in the middle, they are the ones who oppose those in senior high and tertiary. But those in the junior high and no formal education, they are the ones who support.
Yeah, they should allow them to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's wrap up the slide. We jump to, I think, changes the key letter areas we've seen.
Okay, let's look at the changes in the key letter areas. In terms of Beidou, between the first poll and second poll, he lost grounds in Saddams by 23%, and MPP gained 27%. In Amanfrom, he lost 8%, but MPP gained only 1%. The other 7% went to others and undecided.
Yeah.
In Kusik, NDC gained 18%, MPP lost 29%. In Topreman, NDC lost 18%, but MPP didn't gain that 18%. They went to undecided. Then in Kwame Kuma, NDC lost 2%, but MPP gained 13%. And then 15% were still undecided. When it comes to Apinaman, NDC lost 17%, but MPP gained only 11%. The rest went to undecided. And then when it comes to Bodia East, MDC lost 11%, but MPP gained only 5%. In Takorasi, NDC got 38% improvement, because that's where the candidate comes from. And then MPP lost 30%. In Bodia West, NDC gained 12%, and MPP lost 10%. And also in Niwenchi, NDC gained 18%, and MPP lost 28%. And this was what we saw from Niwenchi yesterday. The numbers that was coming wasn't what they were expecting.
So the exit polls,
yes.
Do you consider this as well? Do you?
No, we tend to compare the exit poll
yeah.
with this one.
Yes.
You see how far they were. In most cases, they were aligning.
They were very aligning.
Yes.
Wow.
They were aligning.
Okay. So I think we'll jump this key voting demographics.
Let's look at Asumedu versus Beidou.
Yeah, ethnic groups.
Let's start with education. Education. When it comes to education, those with a junior high qualification, the poll were saying that MPP was going to win with 44%, or was leading with 44%, and NDC was on 39%. But among those with senior high, MPP 38%, NDC 48%, 10 points gap. When you come to those with a tertiary level qualification, NDC was 53%, MPP 39%, a whopping 14%.
Yeah.
We've made this argument that we've seen it time and time and time again that people with higher level qualification in this country are now supporting NDC candidates and NDC. This is a trend we've seen.
It's a trend in your polls.
Yes. Yes. Nationally, at the moment, those with degree level qualification, 43% say they support NDC. They openly affiliate with NDC. And 29% support MPP.
I see.
The ethnic groups, this is where it got very interesting. Among the accounts, who account for around 76% of the population, accounts, MPP was 44%, NDC 42%. The margin of error, remember, was 2.7. Yesterday, according to the exit poll, NDC was 49.9% among the accounts, MPP 50.5%.
Wow.
Split in the middle. So the advantage MPP had among the accounts was completely wiped out.
I mean, if you are doing the analysis of more persons with higher education are aligning with the NDC in the trend you're observing, then you should know that the factor of ethnicity is going to be minimal.
You know, it will be minimal so long as the candidates are from the same major ethnic groups. See, sometimes people say, oh, if you have brought this person, Ali Koni, you would have done better. Let me tell you one thing, and don't underestimate the power of ethnicity in this country. Annie,
yeah.
If you can bring an Akan candidate in an Akan area to face an Akan candidate,
yes,
do that, but they will cancel out their strength. If you bring minority candidates against an Akan candidate in an Akan area, the Akans will do what they do. Obipe adia kokotokwa yamona bro.
To wait.
To wait. You understand?
I do understand.
And my tweet English is not very good. And they will say that so when say chibeyoda and say when say the proverbs are there to let you know that when the time comes, these guys who decide based on ethnicity.
I see. Okay, let's wrap up with that.
And then another key important thing that came out yesterday is actually the voters who caused MPP's defeat. It is the supporters of Neskumi and some MPP people who are not happy with the choice that collapsed MPP's vote yesterday.
In terms of the candidate of the NPP?
7% before the election, 7% of people who voted for Neskumi in the last election said they were undecided as to whether to vote for Kumi, to vote for Bedu or Asumedu. But 69 had pledged their vote to Asumedu, 69. The remaining 24, they said they were going to vote for Bedu. Those who in 2024 cast their vote for Neskumi, they have changed their vote. In the poll yesterday, in the exit poll, that number was actually 16%. Much lower than they said, but it was enough to cause the defeat.
Oh.
But those who voted for Boachiadom, they stayed in line and still voted for NDC candidates. They didn't disperse. Interestingly, those who voted for Neskumi in 2024 elections, 13% of his supporters that got him elected were NDC voters. So those NDC guys who voted for Kumi last time decided to go back home yesterday, and they went.
But still could not cause the upset.
Sorry?
But still could not cause any or make any
It
difference.
was 13%. And remember, the margin Kumi won the election was just 2,060.
So if they had stayed,
then MPP would have won.
Anyway.
So they abandoned Esumedu and went home and cast their vote.
Ah, okay, that's what you mean.
Yes.
Oh, okay, the other way around.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Okay.
So, again, in terms of party affiliation,
yes,
11% of MPP voters were telling us that they will vote for NDC candidates. And 3% of NDC were voting for Asumedu. But yesterday, in the exit poll, it was 4% of MPP people who cast their vote for Bedu. And nearly 1.5% of NDC cast their vote for Asumedu. And again, majority of people who said project was their priority in the poll before yesterday were voting for NDC candidate, 51%. Anybody who says development, 51% of them were voting for NDC candidate. So yesterday, in the exit poll, that number of 42 became 50. And NDC was getting 60% of those who were saying that development is my key issue. 60%. So they were voting based on development project, and most of them were voting for NDC because of the message NDC gave to them.
Yeah, because if you look at the key issues that they were looking at, development was the largest, was the biggest. Okay. Mr. President, before I let go of you, I think we'll pick just 2 slides of the voters' preference for MPP leadership in 2028.
Hey, I thought this is just Akwatia.
It's just Akwatia, but
Akwatia. All right.
Take us through. I'm sure you're going to conduct another one before they go to the polls.
Whilst we go to any place, we take the chance to ask questions to see the views of those people in the area. So we did ask them about what they think about the NPP's flag bearership race. If they were delegates and they were asked to choose a candidate, who would they prefer to lead NPP? In Akwatia, you have Bawumia on 42%, Kennedy on 36%, Barachampon on 2%, Educhum on 10%, and other candidates 9%. But if you compare this current result to the previous one, you will realize that Bawumia barely went up 1%, but Kennedy went up 3%, from 33 to 36. Barachampon dropped from 4% to 2%. And then Educhum went up from 9%
to 10%.
And others declined from 13% to 9%.
I see. So that is within the Akwatia terrain.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what you
yes,
got
yes.
it there. Okay, so I think when the right polls are out, we'll get the details of that. But let me ask the last question before you take leave of us. When you are attacked, how do you feel?
No, I take it very lightly.
You do?
No, I don't take it serious at all. I sometimes try to create a joke about it and laugh about it. And sometimes when I want to laugh, I go to social media and look at the comment and the insult and laugh. I don't take them serious at all. It doesn't get to me.
I see. Because
I know I'll always have the last laugh.
So who's your best friend in politics today?
Friend? I don't have friends. Look, I have... Annie, I don't want to have political friends.
You don't have political
No.
friends?
No.
You have social friends?
I have people, in fact, 2 or 3 people that I know there. In fact, one person I know is my friend. Right? When you come to his house, you see me. I don't go to places. I don't have many house friends, just people that we speak. But I'm just kind of, no political friends. I sort them out.
Mr. Musa Damka, well, thank you this afternoon. Thank you for your time.
It's my
Thanks
pleasure.
for, coming through. What? Okay, so the production team say I should ask you if you can give them some betting odds.
Yesterday, I think there's been a trending issue on social media, whether I can help the boys with some odds.
But seriously, is this something you can do?
No.
You can't?
No.
Okay.
But the bets does not depend on people's view that I can sample and see the likelihood
and come
of
to a conclusion.
No.
Plus, it's a football match. You can't really...
Look, and teamwork. One person takes a bribe, and you are beaten. And here, I would like to quote General Mosquito. Said the only sports he likes is boxing. Because nobody takes a bribe
to be beaten.
to be beaten. But in football, the 11 players, one will go and take the money, and then he will concede a goal, and the whole team will lose. Boxing, one-on-one, no bribe taking, case closed.
If you take the bribe, you're beating alone. You take the whippings alone. Anyway, thank you. All right, you're so watching Good Afternoon, Ghana. I'm so grateful for Mr. Musa Damka coming through this afternoon. It was hot for him, but I think he managed to give us some time, and we're grateful for that. Let's take a breather. When we come back, we'll speak with the political players, and then we'll also tell you more about the new appointing office that has been given to Joyce Notary. We want to understand how it works and how it's going to play in Ghana's governance. We'll be back shortly.
Branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame? As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Trotro from Akwatia. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be later?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. fit be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From Notary, cause she be luckiest. Me and you go be lucky, luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame! Send your God the apple boom! If you put it toye, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712#. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Play me for. It's go time. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Call me. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Now let's go.
Beautiful. Wow.
Decent cross, wasn't going for it. Out towards goal. That's a superb finish.
When it's go time to supercharge your hustle, make it go time for GoTV.
Now let's go.
Love it.
All right, welcome back to the programs. Good afternoon, Ghana. Let's continue with other issues. We just had an interview with Musa Dankwa, but let's delve into another development that's just, hits the news front, and that has to do with aid to President John Dramani Mahama Joyce Bar Mutari Esquire, who has actually been appointed as what we call Notary Public. Now, she will have some deals to do with, contracts that are signed and documents of that nature. Let me read a few or just a brief of what her appointment is about. So they said that Chief Justice appoints Joyce Bawa Mutari to the Office of Notary Public of Ghana. So the acting Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni has appointed Joyce Bawa Mutari to the Office of the Notary Public of Ghana. This was disclosed on social media by the Deputy Attorney General Justice Shrem Sai on September 3, 2025. And in the said post, Justice Shrem Sai congratulated Joyce Bawa Mutari, who he referred to as his senior, on the appointment, and also continues to say that. Okay, I think that was just a brief that the news team has captured. We're trying to get to the office of Joyce Bawa. But in the meantime, let's speak with Kojo Ado, who is a governance analyst, to tell us more about this new office of the public, Notary Public for that matter, Notary Public. All right. Kojo, thank you for your time. You're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much, Annie, and good afternoon to our viewers.
So it's a new thing. It just hit our news front, and we're all, reading about it, doing much more research into this office. Briefly, what can you tell us? What must we know about the Notary Public of Ghana?
Thank you very much, and then I might extend warm congratulations to Joyce for her appointment to this new role. It comes at the back of her notable legal training and also experience within the corporate field and also within the government sector. Basically, this individual, it's the one who is supposed to administer oaths So you go oath of allegiance, authorized to do that. It is an office, so anything concerning that office has to do with the law, and then also governmental processes. The person is also in charge of certifying documents, that is the authenticity. And Annie, you know, in this era of misinformation, disinformation, whereby people alter contracts, people alter government documents, any other document legally binding, this is the individual who is supposed to certify it. So when you see the stamp of the notary public, you will realize that indeed this is an official, very authentic document, especially in legal transactions, financial transactions, and then also attesting signatures. Many people, because of business transactions, do have different types of signatures, and then how they append their signatures. So sometimes when it gets to the legal tussle, this is the individual to be able to attest and then also authenticate the signatures that have been appended to certain contracts or even certain documents, to see if indeed nobody was impersonated in that regard. And then also they conduct government officials, especially in commercial matters, such as protecting negotiable instruments. So in the recent trip for the president to Singapore, you realize that some bilateral agreements were reached, were signed. This is the individual who is supposed to also take cognizance of all these documents, keep records of them, so that when we need reference points, we could go to such a person to have an idea or the content and to know that indeed it happened, and it happened under the president's signature, and the president's signature is authentic, and many other administrative duties that might be assigned to this office. Annie.
So, as an aide to the president, is she going to be specific to the office of the president and documents and agreements it signs, or she can extend into other offices like ministries and agencies?
Annie, it's an entire office on its own. So there is an act of parliament that also supports it. And whenever there is an act, so the Notary's Public Act, Act 9, 1960, that is Act 26, supports it. Anywhere that there is an act, it means that there's supposed to be an administrative mechanism that is supposed to operationalize the workings and the administrative systems that have been put in place by this act. So it is an office just like the office of the special prosecutor. So in this sense, I expect that Joyce Barbutari would humbly probably hand over and say thank you to His Excellency for the opportunity to serve him as his special aide, and then take over her new role and act in accordance with the act that established that role that she's currently being given. Annie.
In May 2023, Daily Graphic published this story, and it said that COP Kofi Boakye retired, Gabi, 90 others sworn in as notaries public. So it means that we can have more than 1-2 people, that will be sworn into that office. We have a notary public. Is the public officer appointed by law to serve in the public in simple matters, usually concentrated with estates, deeds, powers of attorney, and foreign and international business. So continue to say that, and that person is usually an official of integrity who is appointed by the state to serve the public as an impartial witness in performing a variety of official fraud, deterrent acts related to signing of important documents. And in 2023, we signed into office about 90 of them.
Yes, I mean, indeed, we have what we call the role of notary public. So if you are a lawyer with a standing of more than 10 years, you have high integrity, you have practiced, and then you are in the best capacity to be able to serve. We have what we call the role. So you will be listed on that to be able to also perform this function. So as many people who really qualify per the Act at 2 to 26, if you are qualified, if you don't have any sort of criminal records attached to you. Indeed, at the Supremest Court of Ghana, that is the Supreme Court, your name could be part, and when you are found wealthy of it, they could probably through His Lordship, the Chief Justice, could also call you to it to go and serve in that order. So, Annie, it is not specific and it doesn't give a cap as to the number of people who could be notary publics, Annie.
Oh, it doesn't give a cap. The Act doesn't, provide a cap of appointments or, swearing in officers into that office.
Yes, indeed, I've gone through the Act. It doesn't give a cap to the number of people who could be able to serve as notaries publics, Annie.
Okay, so let me also make reference to the story where in August 2025, 17th of August 2025, a few days ago, the Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, Patience Bafo-Boni, has been sworn in as a notary public. She is wife of the Chief Justice, Acting Chief Justice. She was also sworn in recently, and she was among other public officials who took the oath of office at the ceremony administered by the Acting Chief Justice of Ghana, Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, and in a social media post announcing the development, the Ghana Prisons Service shared photos of the event with the caption, Director General of Prisons sworn in as notary public. We also saw that as well. I mean, as a governance analyst, how does this also mean to you? This is a person that's supposed to hold an office that will hold up the integrity of this country, prevent fraudulent activities and stuff like this. Having her husband as the Acting Chief Justice, is there any conflict of interest there, or she can do her job professionally without necessarily any conflict?
I believe that in no way would the discharge of both parties, husband and wife job, will conflict, especially when they are serving in different capacities and also serving in the interest of Ghana. So there isn't in any way conflict of interest. Now, with all these key persons and key personalities who have been appointed, Annie, we are talking about the rule of law. Here, we want to ensure that documents are authenticated, they are certified, and they uphold the true law to the latter, the law to the latter, which is the foundation of governance. It is pivoted on law. So these are key persons who are supposed to make sure that these documents are well certified. And then also, it's contributing meaningfully to good governance in Ghana means that there's supposed to be public trust. Their role is safeguarding the credibility of documents and enhancing public trust in legal and also government processes. It means that they foster a more stable governance environment where there wouldn't be a need for somebody to come and challenge the authenticity of certain documents. And also, Annie, integrity and accountability, which is one of the foremost pillars of good governance, meaning that the requirement of the notaries have to have high moral standard, and that aligns with governance principles and of integrity and accountability, essential for combating corruption.
Yeah.
So you see these persons, their rules, and you talk about the Director General for the prisons, mostly correctional center, and looking at her background as well to high repute, high standard, they are able to also come into the fore with their knowledge, with their experience, and also their training in that regard. And Annie, I mean, to say the least, or has to do with international standards. I mean, we want to push Ghana to a certain limit in such a way that we position ourselves, especially with our legal framework and also our documentation, to meet international standard some few years ago, you've heard arbitrations at International Court of Law here and there, people taking Ghana on for causing financial loss to the state. We need such persons to indeed authenticate the contracts that were signed between Ghana and these private entities, so that when they take us to such The Hague and the rest of them, our document, our processes will be sacrosanct and will be sanctioned by these persons, and know that we are in good standing. And so we are abiding by international standard. So it is no place. Their role is well carved out for them according to the act that established those rules. And I believe that their services and their duties are going a very long way to augment the standard of governance and the standards of accountability, trustiness and integrity, and then also international standard and rule of law. Annie.
I'm looking at the offices, this office and countries that I think take it as serious as they can. And we have, by history, we said that history ties British Empire, such as England, Wales, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and others. While the specific appointment method varies, many appointed through a central authority like Master of Faculties in England. And then we also have countries that are involved. We have France, Italy, Germany, Belgium, and Malta, who are also fully qualified legal professionals with distinct roles and are appointed by the state. We expect that appointments will give us results. And I'm looking at these countries, they must be, they're very serious countries who are taking the office serious and appointing, qualified lawyers into those offices, and it's benefiting them. In the case of Ghana, are we benefited from these appointments? Is the office working effectively?
I believe that Yes, Annie, I believe that these officers and the officers will work effectively if they fall within the governance framework and they fit for purpose. Mm-hmm. And if we understand their roles, the roles that they need to play, and we are able to well define it for them, we are also able to create the enabling environment for such persons to be able to thrive and do their jobs very well. And how the generality of Ghanaians really appreciate that their work also goes to enhance their daily activities. Now, Anne, if per se you travel outside of Ghana and then you want me to handle certain documentations for you over here, because you are absent, you will need a letter of authority. And for me to be the one to be able to discharge those activities for you, you are supposed to give me a letter of authority. And it is the role of the notary public who is supposed to vet this document, what you write, supposed to vet my credibility and put it on paper and then give it a stamp of authority for me to go to the institution that you want me to go and undertake anything for you on your behalf. So you see, when we are able to appreciate and know their rules within our everyday life, it is then that we recognize them, and it is then that their jobs will become relevant to us as Ghanaians.
Yeah,
and
which is important, because we've had in 2023 we had this case of a UK dismissing Ghana's appeal against a $140 million lawsuit matter. We had Ghana losing Trafigura actually taking over, seizing Ghana's property, Regina House in London. And all this has to do with agreements, it has to do with documents that we're not able to, go by the agreement that we sign onto. Sometimes it's almost as though we forget that we have signed agreements that we have to be binding, that are binding on us. So it's important that you make the point that the notary public must make their office felt in our daily lives or in the development of this country.
Especially, and this call will fall on what do you call it, the Public Affairs Directorate of the Ministry of Justice, and then also for them to also come out and engage the general public more on some of these offices that have been enshrined within the Constitution and also acts of Parliament that have been passed, for us to know, because there are a lot of people who need such services. And Annie, I mean, people who sign oath of allegiance, oath of whatever, they go and they write all these things, and but where to go, how to go about the entire process, it leaves much more to be desired. So the National Commission on Civic Education, this also falls on them to be able to sensitize Ghanaians very well. I believe that the media also has a critical role to play by dedicating portions of their airtime to also sometimes do public education and public sensitization, especially now that such issues have started coming out. These notary publics it's been roles that have been existing for so many years. We've not shone the light on them because probably people who were appointed or who were enrolled onto the roster were not so much of social media persons, and nobody even saw their appointment letters. So we couldn't even make noise about it. But it's not too late. This is the time. If the conversations are right, we have the platform, we have the Ministry of Justice and the people over there. I think that we should also get Justice Shrine, who is the Deputy Attorney General, to also throw more light on this for Ghanaians to know, and then as a form of public sensitization.
So it means that once we get more education from these institutions you've mentioned, the Office of the Judiciary, the NCC, the media, does it put the Office of the Notary Public under scrutiny by the public? Do we get the chance, to scrutinize them on very critical agreements that the country signs onto?
Indeed. And I mean, one of the moments that we will appreciate their duty will be during the Public Accounts Committee sitting of Parliament, Subsidiary Committee on Public Accounts Committee, when they sit. And sometimes you will realize that there are certain discrepancies in certain contracts that have been signed, misappropriation of funds, and somebody says that, oh, this contract was signed at the national level, and we're giving directive to implement it at the district level. So we will be able to really verify if indeed the contract was signed at the national level, or it was signed at the ministry level, or it was signed at the metropolitan level, or even regional level. These people's role really come in to find out if when the contract was signed, they were really authenticated, they were signed, and then their signatories were appended to it, so that when somebody comes forward next time to ask for, causing financial loss to the state, and then also misappropriation of funds, we will be able to remind the individual that the contract that you signed, that was binding between the state and yourself as a private entity, these are the terms and conditions, and these are the things that we are supposed to do. So we will not be carried away by just emotions. We will not be carried away by misinformation, but indeed, we will rely our argument and our scrutiny based on authentic documents that has also been vetted and certified, verified by the notary public. Annie.
You remember the 2021 case in court in London, where the court threw out our Attorney General for sleeping on a $170 million case. And then that was the couch, sleeping.
Yes, that sleeping, it means that, hey, somebody didn't do due diligence, somebody didn't take a second look at it. So most of the time, when such negotiators, we have people that they do negotiations, so they are negotiators. They go in, do the negotiation, the terms and conditions are agreed, figures are put down. You need the legal team to be able to put together the entire contract. And then when that is done and both parties are on the same page, on the same level, on the day of the signing of all these things, we verify the one who is signing. Indeed, the sort of signature that you are appending to the document, is it your normal signature? So they make references to previous agreements, previous bilateral agreements, previous official documents that are not in the public domain. They really want to know that when you write your T, you cross it whether upwards or downwards. When you write your I, you dot it whichever way. They want to know how authentic the signatories are, so that one day somebody will not come and say that, oh, my signatory was forged. It wasn't me who signed this document. For us to be found wanting and for such damages to be slapped on us as a nation, and every now and then people take advantage of us, and then they just make financial gains out of us because due diligence wasn't done on the part of a state agency.
Yeah.
Annie.
Kojo, I'm grateful for your time this afternoon, and thank you so much for the education, having given us more details into it. And I'm so sure that most of you will not know about this office because of where the appointment sometimes is done within the Office of the Judiciary. So it's normally done within their quarters, and it doesn't, come out so much. But now, I think having been put out by the Deputy Attorney General, Acting Deputy Attorney General, Justice Sremsai, the Deputy Attorney General, Sremsai himself, it gives us the opportunity to, have a bite on it and let you into that office for you to know exactly what their work really is. So thank you to Kojo for giving us that opportunity. And earlier on, we also had a discussion with Musa Dankwa, who is the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics. We were actually billed to speak with the party executives of both the NPP and the NDC, but of course, time will allow us another time on the platform. They are always with us as political parties who will do that. For now, we'll wrap up here on Good Afternoon Ghana, and thank you for watching. We're back tomorrow. Akwatia Free will come through. Stay tuned.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Some loves are born in the blink of an eye.
I've been madly in love with her since the first time I saw her. Then let's get married today.
I'll be the happiest woman in the world by your side.
And they kill your soul in a flash. Televisa presents You Are the One. Angela dreams of keeping her promise to be a great doctor and help her people. To Alvaro, ambition is stronger than his dream, and this greed will lead him to commit the worst betrayal to the woman he loves.
I will have a husband no matter what.
Samantha, will you please marry me?
Turning all her dreams into painful disappointments and dangerous consequences.
I've been waiting for you to answer my calls, Alvaro. I haven't heard anything from you. I've sent you so many messages, but you've never responded.
Have you left the bus station?
I just want to pay my debt and get out of here.
Her photographs are going to sell fast, and she will be our gold mine. Our clients will love those.
Are you looking for a boyfriend? Are you all right?
Back in the day, tune in radio from morning, and you don't want to miss out because anybody who comes on is massive.
The same back in the day on Metro TV, Mr. BKD anywhere.
Back in the day, mentioning the place that you used to live, that meant that you were Dadaba.
Oh, how?
Because we are the ones who went to Saito.
I wasn't really a nightclub person. No, the only times I went to the nightclub, Kofi Dixon took me.
Yeah. You have a Walkman by your side. Now that was your selector. The Walkman was your selector. So when you play the first song and you want to change the song, you have to start cueing your next song through your headphone. Hi, my name is Ivan Kwashiga. I'm the CEO of Farmhouse Productions. I'm a film director, producer. You are watching Back in the Days with Sammy B on Metro TV. Massa,
We're a guy and yes, I'm be a feature. This is back in the day. Keep watching.
Back in the Day is brought to you by Telecel Ghana.